Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to CWD Woodworking. So today we need to go ahead and get this trailer right here emptied out because Ronnie needs to borrow it this weekend. I think they're going to be moving some insulation and just a lot easier to throw it in the enclosed trailer, transport it. After we get that done, we need to go ahead and get our cabinet saw outfeed table built. We're just about done. We got our walls framed up yesterday for it, and now we just need to get the top put on and make sure everything's braced right, so that way we don't have any sagging going on. Um, Once we get that accomplished, we've got to get all of our materials moved down here from the old wood shop. It's literally just right up there. We'll just grab the skid loader and haul everything down. Um, yeah, once we get that done, I believe we're going to start putting together some measurements and everything we've got a big cabinet job coming up. So, yeah, we'll get things rolling here, and we'll see you guys here in a bit.
Alright, so we're going to start today by getting the small job trailer all cleaned out. We don't have much in here, but it looks like we do have some tools and trash from a few of our smaller jobs that we have done over the last couple of weeks. Today we needed to get this done just because Ronnie is on his way to borrow it this weekend, so that way he can transport some insulation that he's salvaging from one of our other jobs that we're doing. And then eventually we do need to get some shelves added into this trailer, so that way once we put all of our tools back in here, we'll have everything nice and organized and we're not struggling to find stuff. Next up, Dakota and I are wrapping up the walls for our cabinet saw outfeed table. We're cutting the bottom plate here to size and getting it secured to the concrete with a couple of tap cons, making sure everything's solid for our wall and ready to go. And just as we're finishing up, it looks like Ronnie's showing up. Perfect timing as usual. Now that we've got Ronnie and Dave set up with the trailer for the weekend and them heading out to our other job site to get some walls framed up, Dakota and I got back to work on the wall framing for our cabinet saw outfeed table. Right here we are installing the studs and securing the top plate to tie it all together. This is one of the last steps to finish up the framing here, and then we'll be moving on to doing our bracing and then our double top plates.
Alright guys, so what I'm working on here right now is we're just putting in some, we call them stiff backs, but it's basically just support for where our sheets of plywood will lay here for our tabletop. We started there.
Like I said, guys, I'm just adding in some bracing here for our plywood top just to make sure we have plenty of support. This part's pretty quick, just installing a few braces across the center here, and then we'll add a board to the tops of that. Once this bracing's in, the table will be nice and solid and locked together. Part of the reason for this brace is also so that way once our foot lands on this, we'll be able to screw it down. It'll be nice and tight to the table. Looks like as I'm finishing that up, Danny and Dakota are bringing down the first load of stuff from our old wood shop. It's always a bit chaotic getting things moved around, but also nice seeing the space start to fill up with our tools and materials. Still a lot to do, but with each step we're getting closer to having a fully functional shop space.
Alright guys, now we're going to do the same. We're going to put one across here underneath, and then we'll go ahead and put one right across the top as our top plate, and then you got to add 2 more boards right in here, so that way we can get this out to where our 4-foot will hit on our sheets. And then once we get that done, we are ready to run our double top plates. They'll be ready for some sheeting soon.
Now it's time to jump over here to the final side of our work table for our bracing. I'm just cutting and installing the last piece to make sure this side stays nice and solid. As I'm working on that, looks like Danny is over here at the door, so I gotta go let him in. He's got one of our work tables that he's just gonna set over here out of our way for now. As we're working here, looks like the dogs decided to stop by the shop for some pets and explore the new space. They're always curious about what's going on, and it's fun to see them checking out the new place. It's nice to have some company while we're here working in the wood shop, and feels more complete with them around. Alright, now that we've said good morning to the dogs, back to installing this table bracing with just 3 boards left here. Once these are in place, the table will be nice and solid on this side and ready for us to move on to the next step. So, looks like we're moving on now to getting our double top plates installed. It's a crucial step here just to make sure our framing is the correct height. It helps ensure that once we add our plywood top, it'll be perfectly level with our table saw, and as we're ripping sheets of plywood, it'll just be nice and smooth going all the way through the end of it. Looks like after finishing up their task, Danny and Dakota jump in here to help with installing the rest of the double top plates. With all 3 of us working together, we get them installed pretty quickly. Having that extra set of hands just really speeds things up, and now the frame is the right height and ready for our plywood top. We're just one step closer to having a nice and solid outfeed table ready for the shop. After all that framing and bracing, we're finally ready to add our plywood top. We position it over the frame, making sure everything is aligned properly. Once it's in place, we secure it down just like that. Table's looking solid and ready to use.
All right, guys, so right now we're walking up to Dakota's walking, I'm gonna drive up, but we're gonna go up to the other wood shop. We gotta get some of our extra 4x8 sheets that we're gonna put up for some wall sheeting in some areas. Yeah, and we'll just double check, make sure we got everything down here that we need for making some cabinets, and I think at some point we'll probably start putting together measurements and designs for this cabinet job we got coming up. So yeah, we will get some stuff done. Still pretty cold out. Not as cold, but 31 degrees. Jump out here, we'll get the skid loader warmed up, and yeah, grab the stuff we need.
If you're enjoying the content, guys, just make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future updates. If you have any comments, thoughts, questions, just go ahead and leave those down below. We're over here at the wood shop just grabbing some old 3/4 sheets from just some old projects that we've had going on. It's always great to repurpose some materials when we can. With everything ready to go, we're moving them over and getting set up to start on the next phase of our project, which is doing some wall sheeting. Dakota and I are now starting the first row of wall sheeting for this side of the wall. We're just making sure everything's lined up and secured properly. Straightforward step, but just nice to get this sealed off. That way we can get some hooks put up here eventually, get our hoses and cords put up. Once that's in place, we'll move on to the second row, which finishes up this left side of the wall. Both rows in, the space feels more complete and ready for that next step. Now we'll jump over here to the right side of the wall for our sheeting. To start, we're using some leftover pieces from previous cuts to fill in the space between the doorways, which helps minimize waste and keeps things moving quickly. Once we're past the doorway, we come up to the stairs, and that's where things get a little tricky. Rather than cutting around each step, we're just going to speed it up by going for a simpler approach, cutting a diagonal on the plywood that lines up with the slope of the stairs. This method makes things easier and gives us a clean, straight line where the plywood meets the stairs, saving us time, like I said, which doesn't really sacrifice on looks all that much. Now with this section of the wall and sheeting in place, we're one step closer to wrapping up this side. Next up, we're making a small shelf to keep our tool batteries and chargers organized. It's simple but handy addition to the shop here, helping us keep everything in one spot and easily accessible. Once we've got that shelf built, we secured it to the wall, making sure it's level and sturdy. Now we've got a dedicated spot for the chargers and batteries, which will help keep the shop area tidy and efficient. Alright guys, so before the end of the day here, we just wanted to get a jump start on this wall. This wall will be where we hang up our tool belts when we're not using them. That way they're not laying on the ground, just getting all disorganized and whatnot. It's a pretty important spot for us to get done. Since this wall goes up at an angle with our handrail, we just plan to run our sheath long, and then we will use our router to flush cut them, make it look nice and perfect. Made good progress getting about halfway done with this wall before the end of the day, and we'll get this wall finished up first thing in the morning.
Hey everybody, just going to do a quick recap of the day. So we got the rest of our outfeed table built. I should say we're not 100% done. We got to put in some sheets down here. This will be where all of our lineal stuff goes. But yeah, got this massive table built, so that way if you're here by yourself, anybody can rip by themselves. And then we added on some extended fences, so that way you can come and just put your board straight on here. Don't have to worry. We got a bunch of stuff moved over. We got one more table. We're probably just gonna go and build another one instead. We kind of want to extend it, so that way we can do a little bit of different things with when it comes to putting together our cabinets. Still got this junk to get out of here, which hopefully we'll get the dump trailer over here tomorrow, get all that out of here. So we got that space all opened up. Same with some of that. All this. Most of these tools actually go in our other trailer, but Ronnie's borrowing it this weekend, like I said. And we started getting this all sheeted. We're not going to go up any higher. We just don't see any reason to. We got to get a door put in here. This is just going to stay open. It's kind of just a little dry storage. Tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and frame up this wall, so that we close off our tool room. Started getting this sheeted, got a board put up there with some hooks so we can hang our rigs up. We've got a router bit that'll cut this doorway out real nice, so we're just gonna leave that for now. Kind of dark in here, but we got a shelf built with all of our sandpaper, screws, cabinet hardware. This will just kind of be where our bulk storage is. We got an electrician coming to get our lights wired tomorrow. But yeah, coming along, we're making some progress. We got a whiteboard here, we'll get that wiped off so that way we can use that for jobs and whatnot. But yeah, coming along, we're gonna be building some cabinets here soon. It does sound like our material got delayed, so it's not gonna be here till Monday, so we won't be able to start those tomorrow, unfortunately, but we'll go ahead and start them when we get some material. So that's going to do it for us here today at CWD Woodworking. Just want to say thanks for watching and following along the progress that we're making on our cabinet shop. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. And if you got any thoughts, questions, comments, anything, just go ahead and leave those down below. And if you're not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming up next. We got a lot coming up, so we'll catch you in the next one.